Hey everyone. Oh, your timer is, I'm gonna have to transfer stuff over again. So today is actually June 15th, 2023, because it is now past midnight. So I am in my comfy robe, and this is a video specifically as a shout out to Husband Cat, because Husband Cat thinks that since I have such high expectations of him all the time that I don't notice whenever he does little cutesy happy things. And I wanted to give a shout out for one of his super happies that he did today. Even though he probably, hopefully, was a little nervous at taking a project away that I was a little nervous about him working on would end poorly. He changed out the throttle cord for the push lawnmower that he has. He has a Craftsman one. We have like two of everything because of Baltimore and because of his and her stuff. So my super expensive, bought it brand new, fancy lawnmower that I bought a while back ago whenever I had Buku bucks and I didn't care. That like you're supposed to like you can rinse it out and like it self drives and it does all this other stuff, and I was like, I should do that. I never use any of those features or like the bagging thing because it's obnoxious. But anyways, that one is in Be More because it has Be More stuff to do. And I left the Craftsman, which is actually the older of the two. Mine is like a Briggs and Stratton one, I think. But anyways, poor Husband Cat had to like weed whack the front yard because it's, not really practical for the very small front yard that he has, um, to use one of the riding lawnmowers. And then he probably thinks that I would be very grumpy with him if he used the Murray. And Daddy Cat, my Daddy Cat, actually got me a brand new fancy lawnmower, and it's not here yet. It's in Mississippi, and he promised me that he would bring it up here. And that way we would have two riding lawnmowers because the other riding lawnmower that Husband Cat has had for a long time doesn't work very well and is kind of in pieces in the yard. I'm too busy. I have too many projects. Like, ladies, if you're out there and you're seeing my videos and like you like me because of school stuff, and like you're married or you have a boyfriend or you have a like co-partner and like they're in a trade or like something, and you get mad at them because they don't achieve their honey-do list, as the woman that has a honey-do list that's like 10 miles long, who am I kidding? It's like 1,200 miles long. Like it goes all the way down to Mississippi, of stuff that I haven't done, which includes going to Mississippi. Um, eh, try to try to help with the honey-do list because it is daunting to like be the person that works physically with stuff, and then like I do a lot of admin stuff, so I'm not just like just a gearhead or a home improvement person or whatever. I do a lot of stuff, so I get the mom stuff, I get the dad stuff, I get the gender roles or the lack of gender roles in our case, and like just cut them some slack because it's hard. It's very hard to like manage all of these different things, and it becomes a lot, and there's only so many hours in the day, and this is coming from someone that works like 16-20 hours a day, literally, not figuratively. Anyways, and I'm happy with it. Like, I'm not like, I mean, I'm annoyed that I'm falling behind on stuff because of like life events and everything. But outside of that, like, I can keep pace with my life, and I enjoy my life, and I enjoy having a certain amount of chaos and stress, but not where I feel like I'm always behind, which is where I'm at. So going back to Husband Cat's video, um, Husband Cat changed out the throttle cord, and I might have named that wrong, but basically the cable that runs from the throttle for the carburetor and stuff that you pull tight so that you can then hold the little handle thing, and crank it. Um, that went out, the little one for the arm thing, not for the cranky one, because that is a whole big thing. And I thought that's what he was talking about. I was like, don't you touch it. It will explode and I will get very, not like a bomb or something, but like it will explode, and and that will be bad. There will be little bits and bobs all over the place. Anyways, so he changed it out. And like if you're a guy and you're like, I can't believe you're so excited. No, I'm excited because he took on a task. He completed it. He was excited. I did not get my happy deer dance, which is one of our things that like he's supposed to do whenever he gets excited. Um, but I just wanted to say that I was proud of him because he has been, in my opinion, as someone that knows how to do a bunch of stuff, I think that he was kind of handicapped by the opposite of my paternal influence and one of my paternal influences in my life. Whereas I had a daddy cat, didn't have a son, and once he realized that I liked doing this stuff at all, he just saw me as like an extra little worker and a way to complete his task at a faster rate and an extra set of hands. And I was really excited because I had to learn all this cool stuff. And so, I basically got to experience life as a Southern boy almost, being raised by a strong Southern man. And I'm not saying that my dad is perfect because he's not, but I probably didn't deal with all the stuff that like the normal father-son relationship stuff would have, where like my dad never punched me in the nose. I'm sure that like, boys and dads end up having like gers at each other, and so the relationship of a father and a daughter is totally different. So even if I did something really stupid, my dad wouldn't, he wouldn't treat me the same way if I was, his son. There's just a different dichotomy there. And so the father-son relationship that I have heard about was like, oh, I tried to teach him and he just didn't want to learn. And then his side is like, oh, he tried to teach me and I didn't want to learn. And it's like, okay, well, going back to daycare stuff and early childhood education, if the children or the child doesn't learn the way that we teach, we should teach the way that the child learns. So you have to change it, because children, there are no bad children. There are only bad lessons that are taught and bad instruction and bad adults that end up corrupting little innocent minds, in my opinion. So I think that he was handicapped because his dad threw his hands up in the air and said, you know what, I'll do it. And then he threw his hands up in the air and said, that's fine. You don't want to teach me and you don't want to teach the way that I want to learn, or whatever thing happened between the two of them. And he's been handicapped in this area of life, and spoiled in some instances with like his truck, which rears its head all the time. Where it's like, my dad used to do this. And the house, my dad used to do this. And it's like, okay, well, at some point you have to recognize that like you have a 20-year-old truck and you either need to learn how to take care of it, which is my thing that I would prefer, because there is a life lesson with that. And then I keep hearing, his dad saying, oh, it's got rust and this and that and everything else. And it's like, okay, buddy, like if you dedicate all this time to keeping it running, why didn't you dedicate the time in preserving this vehicle? You preserve the body of the vehicle, but the undercarriage is all messed up. And the undercarriage is not completely shot at this point. So, like, I'm going to work on not just what you see on the outside. And, like, look, we can go into, like, this whole metaphor. I'm going to work on what you can't see. That you see that it gained rust and everything else. Which, where that truck's been, there's no reason it should have that amount of rust on it anyways. My truck is the same, the Trailblazer are the same age. Yeah, those are my tidbits of grumpiness. So he was handicapped by it, and I try really hard, and he gets mad, and, anyone that knows us knows that I am the more skilled of the two of us in very specific areas, and he's the more skilled in very specific areas. He just doesn't share, he can't or doesn't share his little areas of stuff, and, like, every now and then I'm like, Bakatas, you have to let me know about, like, I'll see an article. I'm like, why didn't you tell me about this article? I can't believe this stupid stuff's going on. And he's like, you should watch the news, Michelle. I'm like, okay, well, that's what your job is. I stay away from the news because I get sucked into it, because then I'll research all this stuff. Like, I stay away from politics, new events, all that kind of stuff on purpose, because I will get consumed and it's not worth my mental energy. And then I have, like, people probably just, like, hitting their heads. And it's like, okay, well, if it's relevant and you think it's relevant to me, then, like, you need to let me know about it, because now that's your task. If it's important enough to merit my opinion or my knowledge of it, then let me know. That can be a task for you. I'm giving you all this free information on parenting, houses and vehicles and relationship advice and, like, healthy coping mechanisms. The least you can do is, like, tell me that there's an article that I really need to see, because, like, it's super duper important, and I'll just trust you and I will close it out after that and I'll be done. Or you make me a video and then I'll watch your video and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Here's my perspective on that as someone that stays away from pop culture, politics, I feel like I should just keep saying peas and it's like pee pee pee. Ha ha ha. Anyways, husband cat did a great job on the lawnmower. Super, super proud of him. I'm just super proud of husband cat in general. Like he's always like, oh, I feel like I can't do anything right with you. And it's like, no, you do a lot of right. You are a fantastic provider and you are trying to acclimate to roles that, I have a 17-year head start on with you. And working on trying to learn how to be like emotionally intimate with someone, which is something that a lot of people don't do, even when they've been married for a long time. I've seen people that are married for like 20 something years and they're still not emotionally intimate with each other. They just don't talk about stuff. And then they wonder when, like, why their person ends up having a heart attack or a stroke or like whatever, because they're like, I didn't see that coming. It's like, okay, well, you should have if you like paid attention to them. And like, I'm a hypocrite because like I respect boundaries to the point where it's like, hey, I didn't notice this, and then it's like blowing up in your face. But the second it hits my radar, it's like the primary thing, and we're gonna tackle that until that thing goes away or is resolved, because I am a fixer of problems, whether they are physical, mental health, emotional, house, vehicle. Like I have a whole range of things that I work on. But the story here is that I love this my husband cat. He is an exceptional husband cat. He fixed the lawnmower. He was very proud of himself. I did not get my happy deer dance. I did not get loud, blaring, happy music. And I'm trying to jumpstart him as a vehicle or as a HVAC machine that doesn't have a motherboard, and make it where he is as happy as he can be, just like I'm trying to be as happy as I can be, because we've gone through a lot of stress. It's like the consistent thing of our relationship, and like people all the time, like not all the time, but like because we're apart so often, people try to poke at us and say, oh, you don't live in the same house, and oh, his and hers and everything else. And it's like, okay, well, here's the thing, is that when we're together, we spend quality time together. And our relationship is very, very, very solid because we have endured immense amount of trauma together, and because we do work on some of our trauma that we have had outside of our relationship together. And we are very bonded because at our core foundation, which I recommend to everyone that will listen, and so does everyone, a lot of people do, like, priest or a counselor or whatever, you should be married to your best friend. If your person that you're married to is not your best friend, you need to find a way to make them your best friend, because if you decided to be emotionally or romantically intimate with that person, they should be and be able to be the person that gets at least 90% of you. Because sometimes we can share 100% of ourselves with another person, which is what I did in one relationship that I had. I shared 100% of myself, and they may not have shared 100% of themselves, but I thought that they did. And so then I developed an unconditional love that I had never given anyone besides my parents and my children. And that is something that is, difficult to admit, is that you end up developing a blind faith in a person. And if you're going to put that much stock, that much emotional stock in a person, it can burn you. So you have to be very careful about that. That's why we hear about people, this person did this bad thing to this other person. And it's because they probably had all their emotional stock in one person. So I kind of learned a lesson from that. So I do not do the thing, like, sorry guys, I'm tired. I do not do the thing of giving 100% of myself to another person because of previous trauma. You live and you learn, and then you don't get Lufts. It's what I say all the time, because I don't like Lufts diapers. And my sister sent them to me when Charlie was first born. I'm like, I don't want these diapers. Anyways, we donated them. Sorry. Someone else got a nice box of diapers. But yeah, that's where we're at. We are very bonded. We love each other. And as we get older, our different things that, we have going on, they change and things like that. And so I am going to toot the horn of yay, husband cat. Not only did he work on the downstairs basement area, which he still hasn't finished yet, but it will get done, I assume, because I'm not touching it. because it's his project. And I'm proud of him for self-starting and all of that stuff. And then he fixed the lawnmower. And I told him the other day, because like my love languages, which I think I did a video on, but if I didn't, then like somebody's going to have to poke me when they see this video. My two love languages, after testing myself multiple times throughout the years, are it's physical touch, only with the people that I want to be touched by. Otherwise, I cannot stand to be touched. I can't stand it. It drives me crazy. So if you're like a hugger and you come and hug me, I can't stand it. I don't like it. It's too much. It's gross. I don't like it. Except for my parents, as long as I'm not going through a traumatic event, because it will cripple me if I get hugged by someone like a parent when I am emotionally vulnerable. I recognize that about myself. And like there are moments like mom's like, you told me not to hug you. I'm like, yeah, because I would have like broken. Like I was like, I knew that I was fractured. And if you hugged me, then I would like implode or explode. So it's physical touch outside of my children and my romantic partner, and very few people, teeny tiny speck of people, I cannot stand to be touched. Which is great because husband cat never has to worry about me going off and like doing bad stuff because he's like, you hate being touched. I'm like, I hate being touched. You have no idea how much I have to like someone in order to touch them or let them touch me. And now my Anthony, oh, yep, I'm getting a call. But anyways, it's physical touch and it's acts of service. Acts of service because I have so many things that I do and because I give so much service to other people that if I didn't do that, then, if somebody's actually, it's like my dad got grumpy with Izzy because she was like, Mommy has all these appointments and we're not doing all this stuff. And he kind of, grumped at her and he said, Mommy takes care of a lot of people and nobody takes care of Mommy. Which is not true, but it is very true because my dad tries to take care of me in his ways and Crazy Cat Lady tries to take care of me in her ways. And Husband Cat was very good at taking care of me in his ways. And then life stuff happened. And then it's hard not to get grumpy with other people when you're under a lot of stress. And we're trying to get back to the basics on that stuff. But overall, he's a good cat. So that's my stuff is, he did an act of service. He took on a project. He did well with it. I wanted to give him verbal cookies for that, which is compliments. And then he's also been very proficient with filling up my waters because for some reason I want to be a little pampered princess with certain things, even though I'll literally crawl underneath the Trailblazer and get covered in sewage and other situations and everything. I cannot stand taking out the trash. It grosses me out, makes me feel disgusting, makes me want to scream. And I can't stand not having enough water because I dehydrate very quickly. And so I have to be one of the most hydrated people out there because there's just a problem. So if I'm in that moment of chaos of I need hydration right now, and bottles aren't there, then I feel like no one loves me. And then if it's me, like Patterson, I have to love me. And I have emergency water bottles tucked away because this is such a problem. If someone if Crazy Cat Lady sees that my water is empty or that I started to fill up the thing and then I had to move on to something else, she'll put all the water bottles in there and I get all excited. So he's been doing really good husband cat stuff. So this is the husband cat video. He's a great husband cat. And I love this him very, very much. And you guys are about to be done with your video. So have a great night or morning or whatever. See you next time. Bye.